Have you thought about adding watercolor art to your creative sessions, but have been a little hesitant about trying an art that relies on the unpredictable flows of water? Then don't go nowhere. Today I'm unboxing, swatching, and playing with this beautiful Komorebi watercolor set by Mozart. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, The Maker Exchange, on Facebook. All right, today I am finally exploring this set of Mozart Komorebi watercolors, which I actually purchased well over a month ago. And in all honesty, I just was too intimidated to turn the camera on and bear my uninformed watercolor newbie soul to the world. Now, at the risk of sounding a little arrogant, I am good at a lot of things. A lot of creative things, a few artistic ones too, but this paint medium, this is not something I'm confident in, and it shows just by the length of time it took for me to do this. But I have never been a coward, and I'm not going to start being one now. It is high time I get the show on the road for me and for other creatives who need permission to start. So today I give myself permission to start, permission to learn, to mess up, and most importantly, permission to grow. Now, in doing my homework, I see that Komorebi is a Japanese term that means the scattered light that filters through when sunlight shines through trees. Now, I also did a little bit of research to help me understand the different watercolors that are out there. Now, we won't go into all of them today, but my understanding is that Mozart Komorebi is a Gansai watercolor paint. Gansai is a Japanese style watercolor. Those watercolors are Japanese paints that are traditionally produced using an animal glue called nakawa as a binder and various pigments. At first glance, the tin that houses these paints reminds me of the tin that I think it's the Koh-i-Noor woodless pencils come in. Now, these are full pans of paint and they are securely closed in when the lid snaps shut. I would recommend keeping the acetate packaging in here for storage as well as for traveling. It also comes with a swatch card that is affixed to the top lid. Now, it does make it a bit inconvenient for filming, but we will make this work, right? So I'll go ahead and swatch each color so we can see just how pigmented and rich in color they are. And we can also see how translucent they are. And translucent in the world of watercolor is, for the most part, better than opaque colors. And I think that is because you have the ability to layer them and blend them a little bit better than if they are opaque. That's just my thoughts. The purpose of swatching is simply to create a record of the medium for future reference. Since watercolor paints can be layered, mixed, and blended with others, it's important to have a visual of what they look like on paper as opposed to in the pan. Sometimes you're inspired to create and will refer to the swatches for color choice, while other times you can actually start with your swatches that can serve as inspiration for your next creation. Swatches are organized in a variety of ways, mostly in some form of a journal or book. You can also swatch on cards that you store on rings. You can even mat and frame your swatches. It's totally up to you. Remember, there are plenty of guidelines for art, but there are no rules in it. Now, in my eagerness to get started today, I did set up my camera as I typically do, but I didn't adjust it to accommodate both the pans of paint and the swatch cards. So you'll see the positioning change throughout this swatch session. So my apologies in advance if you're not able to see everything at once. But if you need any additional information on any of the colors or the set itself, please go ahead and drop your question in the comment section below. Friends, as I've mentioned before, this is my first official artist grade watercolor set. And my hope is that while I soak up inspiration from around me and express that in my practice and play sessions with paints, that I'll also learn a little more about the different types of watercolor paints, and perhaps that can help me determine other paints out there that speak to my creative soul. I hope that you'll come with me on this journey working with this newest medium. So I went ahead and put together a list of pros and cons with regards to my thoughts on this set. Now, I don't have any official sets to compare these with. And even if I did, I'm so new to this that the only thing that I can share in terms of pros and cons is what I observed that I actually like. Now, maybe that's enough for you to determine whether this is something you'll want to add to your art arsenal. Maybe it's not, but either way, here we go. So, the first of the pros is that this set offers a great array of colors. Now, with that, you have the ability to mix two or more of them together to create other colors not necessarily found in this palette. Number two, now I like the fact that this set offers full pans of paint. Now, most palettes offer either full pans, half pans, quarter or eighth pans, and then there's also shell pans. Now, did y'all know that watercolors were originally stored in little seashells dating back to prehistoric times? Can you imagine one of the earliest artists back then trying to get those last strokes of color on the cave walls right before dusk turned to night? Talk about a race against time. Number three, these wet or re-wet very easily. I sprayed all of the pans with water to bring the paints to life. And once my brush touches the pans, the paint, not just the water, soaks right up and lays down with ease. Now, I've watched some videos where water is introduced, but there still needs to be a little coaxing of the paints with the paintbrush just to get them to play nice with the water, but not these. They seem to come alive with joy. Number four, the fact that it comes with a nice sized swatch sheet is rather convenient, especially for beginners like me. Listen, do me a favor and go ahead and tap the thumbs up button. When you do that, you help make sure that this video and the channel gets seen by more people just like you, which is the only way a channel like this can grow organically. And if you've already hit the button, thank you kindly. Number five. Now, I wasn't actually looking for neon colors, but here they are. Neon isn't a color that I could create by mixing other colors together, so it is nice to have. I'm not really sure how I'll use them as I don't typically create with neons, but who knows, maybe them being here will inspire different types of creations, right? And last but not least, number six. Now, the paints are pretty pigmented. The color saturation is really rich, which means I won't have to layer color in order to get the deepest tones. Now, some of the colors are a little more opaque than others, and that's fine. Now, my understanding is that you actually want your watercolors to be transparent, which makes sense. Otherwise, you'd use gouache or acrylic or oil paints, right? I truly enjoy sharing my work and processes with our creative community here on YouTube, where there's a ton of love and support. Many of you have been subscribers for quite a few years, and perhaps you'd like to see a little more from Livie's Lovelies. Maybe some original artwork or behind the scenes videos. So if you're looking for other ways to connect or support the channel, I'd like to tell you for less than a cup of coffee, you can join me over on Patreon. Now, on Patreon, these videos are viewed first, and as a member, you have access to exclusive content available only to our Patreon members. Your monthly subscription also includes monthly freebies. Sometimes they're handcrafted Livie's Lovelies originals, other times it's digitals that have not yet been made available for purchase. Those memberships enable me to purchase varying types of products like these watercolors, so that I can come back and share the data and journey with my creative community. Now, there will be a link below in the description box for those who are interested, and I look forward to seeing you over there as well. Now, let's move on to the cons that I found. And now there aren't that many, or maybe there are more and I'm just not informed enough to be able to determine that for you guys, but here we go. Number one, there isn't a lot of information on the ingredients and materials used to create the watercolors or of the pigments that make up each color. Number two, which is an extension of number one, you also aren't given light fastness, which indicates how each paint fades in natural sunlight. Now, without that, you can't confidently use these to create art for sale or commission pieces. Now, that's another thing I'm learning about this as I go along. Not all watercolors are created equal. And number three, It doesn't appear that the individual colors in this palette are sold open stock, so you won't be able to buy replacement pans or buy them individually to create a custom palette. So if you run out of one color, unfortunately, you'll likely have to rebuy the entire set. But at the current price of $22 on Amazon, it could be worse, right? All right, now here are my final thoughts on the Mozart Komorebi watercolor set. Let me preface this by saying I have no affiliation to this company, and they have not sent me this set as a promotion, so the thoughts are very much my own, much like any review I ever give here. Now, you may never hear me say this again because I am not a fan of having duplicates for the sake of having more. But if after you purchase this set and have used it a handful of times, you realize you look forward to sitting down and creating with them, I'd encourage you to go ahead and invest in a second set. You know, there is nothing worse than something becoming your favorite only to become discontinued. It happens all the time in the world of art and craft products. Oh, and if for whatever reason my thoughts or feelings towards this set changes after considerable use in the future, I will come back and provide you with a well-informed update, all right? In addition to those unexpected neon colors they have in the palette, there are also a handful of metallics: a copper, gold, silver, blue, purple, and pearl color. Mozart does offer additional smaller palettes, which I found on Amazon and Walmart. I even saw a metallic or pearlesque palette. So you can actually expand your Mozart watercolor palette collection beyond the Komorebi set. Wait a minute now. The party is not over yet. Now that we've gone through and swatched all these yummy colors, it's playtime. We have earned the right to explore these lovelies a little bit before we end this video. Listen, I'm going to wrap this up right here, but stay tuned for part 2 of this Art and Soul session where I take this page to the next level. Now, question is, what do you think I'll be adding to this page? Drop it in the comments. Now, if you're still here and are not a current subscriber, I welcome you to hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell so that with each upload, you're notified to come and continue this journey with me and our creative family. And if you are a subscriber and are already a part of this fabulous family, I will never get tired of thanking you for being a light and an inspiration, for your generosity and kind words, not just to me, but to one another. And as always, thank you again for sharing me in your creative spaces. I am so blessed to be part of such an amazing community of creatives. Now listen, until we're back here together on Patreon and YouTube, you guys stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative and crafting. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.